Hello, YouTube. Hello, McTow. Hello, Red Pill. This is Red Pill in the Wind. And today, we're going to discuss the Comunitah. Black Comunitah. The Black Comunitah is done for. And I'm going to give you some reasons as to why. As Mad Bus Driver said, the 90s were the last time any reform could come back to the Comunitah, to the black community. And he's absolutely 100%. See, after the burning of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Okeechobee, Florida, that was our first peak. We hit a downturn. We were on our way to picking back up. Took us decades to get back to a level plane. Took us decades to get back to a level plane. Once we began to start leveling off, they started the no-fault divorce. They lowered. First thing they did was they lured black women to the city. To the city where they can easily regulate them. Easily regulate black people. Where they can easily regulate black people. And with being easily regulated, they can make things of such as no-fault divorce. Sojourner Truth really was the beginning of the end. For the black community. Sojourner Truth was the beginning of the end. Many black women aren't going to say that. Margaret Sanger was the next step to the end of the black community. But it was in conjunction with no-fault divorce. What the government did was they came in smooth talking, saying, "Oh man, your man's doing great right now, but what about when he's not doing great?" They got inside their head. It says, "Hey, we'll take care of you. When your man's not doing good, whenever your man falls, because he's gonna fall. It's only a matter of time." Black men fell on some hard times. And with being in the city, made it easier for the effects to take place. The reason the divorce rate for black people is so low is because black people aren't getting married. Black people are not getting married. They've been having children out of wedlock for the longest time. For an incredibly long time, to be exact. So now we have kids who are raised by single mothers. Many of them don't know who their father. Many of them don't know who the father is, because guess what? They've been banging multiple. You see it on Murray all the time. You are not the father. You are not the father. You are not the father. That's basically some of the black community in a nutshell. Bunch of young men and women not knowing who their fathers are. It's amazing it lasted this long. Then the drugs, the crack cocaine came in, where it was it was so easy to take cocaine and turn it into crack. Pour it in a hot pot, pour the crack, put the cocaine in a hot pot, pour a little bit of baking soda, and throw an ice cube in the thing and let it cool off and let it solidify into a crack rock. Funny, don't you think? And grind it up. Which basically made a whole bunch of addicts, to where every time somebody tried to get some money to get out of the situation, they got robbed. Which led to a lot of houses being abandoned, a lot of property being abandoned and taken out, things being torn down because they had to leave it all behind. They had to leave a lot behind. You know, had to leave a lot behind. Then the 90s came in. We were kind of recovering. We were kind of recovering with the music and the acting and living color. With the "Don't Do Drugs" campaign. We were at another peak. Then the 2000s came. Everything's taking its toll now. You know? What these mayors are doing in these traditionally black cities, what they're doing is they're lowering the image of black Americans to the new immigrants that are going to come and take our place. That's what they're doing. That's what these pro-black mayors are doing. They're lowering the image of black men and women. So that when people get in here from war-torn countries and they spend the night, they spend all this time in these hotels, only time they get in the hotels to get in, get the stuff that they need, and get out and get back in the hotel, paid by taxpayer dollars. So that when they finally let them loose, they're already indoctrinated that black people are these vile, malicious people. Because that's what these mayors are doing. Starts at the mayoral level. That's what these mayors are doing. And the funny thing about it is black mayors too. They are pawns. These mayors are pawns of the system. And the funny thing about it is no matter who you vote in, can't trust them. Changing my party to independent. Changing my party to independent. Because it doesn't matter whether I'm Democrat or Republican. Doesn't matter whether I'm Democrat, Republican. The change is not going to be in my favor. I have a question for you. What's the difference between a public servant and a politician? Here's the answer. Public servant looks for solutions to problems that their citizens are facing. They are of the people, by the people. A politician makes money off of people suffering, aka they get funding from lobbyists. They don't do this. They don't do this to solve any problems. They make money off of the problems. That's the difference between a public servant and a politician. Red Pill No Win, signing off.